Sadnam aloha, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. And let me see here. If you could put your human design type and your astrology information, that would be great. And let me just get my slides ready. And is everybody enjoying their holiday? I was saying to a friend of mine the other day that healing never takes a vacation. So, okay. Let me just check. Get the comments up. And let me know if my sound is good, if I'm clear. Yay, there we go. Okay. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. And I will get started. Okay. So today I want to talk about Chiron moving direct on December 30th. Right there. Okay, good. Yeah. Huge opportunity to be with your family of origin to do some healing work. Okay, good. My sound is good. Okay. So basically Chiron right here has been in the sign of Aries since 2018. So we've been working on a particular theme with Chiron and Aries. So just a review here that Chiron, this is the human design chart. So if you're new to human design, just go and always go to my information box below and get your free chart. And be sure to subscribe and like. And you can, as you follow along, just with these transit reports, you're going to learn more and more about your own natal chart. So this is the transit chart right here. And Chiron is usually not part of this. Like you need kind of special software for Chiron to get the Chiron, what gate it's in and number. And you'll see here that Chiron is in 51.5, but Chiron isn't part of the activation. Only these planets are part of the natal chart. But regardless, it's a good idea to look at Chiron, and I'm very interested in Chiron. They discovered Chiron in 1977, and that was the birth of the New Age kind of healing trend that we've been on as a humanity. So it's in the 51.5 here, and that comes off the willpower center. You can see that. So let me know if you've got the 51 natally. And put that in the chat or down in the comment box would be good. Okay, where do we want to go with this? So it's been in Aries. So the 51.5, you can see this is the mandala, is what follows. So all the planets in the nodes of the moon are moving through the mandala, right? So if you look at Aries, you see Aries, all of these numbers apply to Aries. See all these numbers? And then 3 you got to Taurus, right? So there's the 51 in Aries, right? So that's Chiron and Aries. So it's been in retrograde since July 26. So we've had time to reflect and review whenever a planetary body moves in goes into retrograde. That's the time to reflect on something. So Chiron is our deepest wound. It's our deepest wound. So natally, it's our deepest wound. And then in terms of the transit, it's showing us as a humanity our wound around this 51. Okay, so just with Chiron, Chiron has the symbol of the key. The key. See that? That's a symbol. And that's big. Because it is a key. It's a deep, deep key to our healing. And you can see here our Chiron wound, whatever it is, like natally, whatever your Chiron is, it depends on your sign and also the house that it sits in. It gives you information about your Chiron wound and very connected to your soul purpose as well. So let's say self-esteem, that would go with Chiron and Aries, right? One of these. So the Chiron wound is really the portal. It's the portal to get to your highest potential and your freedom. So it's something to really take note of in your life, right? And if we look at Chiron and Aries, and then we'll go into the 51st gate. Well, how can this play out? Well, crippling self-doubt and lack of self-worth. Feel that who you are at your core, like the basis, foundation of who you are is not acceptable. Remember, Aries is the first of the zodiac, right? The first sign of the zodiac. And it doesn't matter if you don't have Chiron and Aries. Maybe you do. Let me know if you have Chiron and Aries natally. Then you're going to really resonate with this. If not, then you'll still resonate with this, because we actually have all of these, all the zodiac signs, right? All the gates of human design, generally speaking. Right? But of course, with the activations, that makes it more focused. Okay? So our core is not acceptable. You find it hard to stand up for yourself or ask for what you want. You're a people pleaser. Trouble starting anything new, initiating anything, and believe you're ugly or deformed. And you may have had a traumatic birth. And that's a whole other video, right? How our birth affects how we approach life. Right? So the healing here for Chiron and Aries is surrendering your ego to the divine, right? And then using your human design strategy and authority, if you know it, and listening to your intuition, not your ego. So following your heart, right? Following your heart and not your ego, So this fits very well with the 51, right? If we go back up here. Right, the 51st gate. Okay, so this, and then let's also talk, no, let's not go there yet. So the 51, so this is the willpower center here, and all of the gates correlate to body parts, and the 51 is the gallbladder, correlates to the gallbladder here. So Chiron's been sitting there for a long time. So it can make you feel powerless. So what's this 51 about? So the 51 is the gate of shock. It's called the gate of shock here. And it's about facing uncertainty in your life. It's about facing the unknown. And this is the time that we're in right now. So Chiron has gotten you to look at a specific wound. And we'll go into that based on your astrology. And then we'll go to the human design types, and then of course the twin flames, right? So it's gotten you to look, the lesson here with Chiron is to get you strong, right? Get you strong so that you're able to face uncertainty that's coming in 2025. 2025 is going to be quite intense. So you want to be stabilized in yourself. And that's what this 51 is about, right? So you see on the other side, the 25, the 51-25, that's the channel of initiation. And look where the 25 is in the north node, right? The south node's the 46, the north node's the 25. This goes until January, and then the nodes are gonna switch again, okay? So this is your higher self, right? The 25, this is your being, right? It's your soul, it's your spiritual self, your divine self, your authentic self. And so this is using the power of your willpower to jump in to your divine self, which takes courage and takes bravery. And this is also why it's called the gate of the warrior, the 51, right? The spiritual warrior. So, and this is where the nodes show us where we need to leave, what we need to leave behind, and what we need to embrace. So we need to embrace this 25, which is the gift of acceptance, and it's the gift of unconditional, universal love, right? Universal love, divine love here. Okay. So what had to be addressed with the Chiron here is where you feel that you're not good enough, right? That you can't handle life, that you're broken, right? You feel like you can't assert yourself. Chiron in Aries is about your masculine energy, your wounded masculine energy. And we all have it, no matter if you're incarnated into a female form or male form. We both have masculine and feminine energies, and women and men both need both these energies. So this is the protector, right? If you look at the correct masculine, you're able to stand up for yourself. You're able to set boundaries. You're able to patrol boundaries. You're able to protect yourself, right? The 25 is very much about innocence too. It's our innocence, and this is our pure being. So we were in, if we go back to what movie, so each year, right, the sun's moving around. It takes 365 days for the sun to move around the mandala, right? And when it ends up in the 41st hexagram, which is January 21st, 2025, that's really the new year. That's the real new year. Right now, we're not in the new year. Even though the Gregorian calendar is telling you, no, this is the new year. No, the energy is not new, right? This is when the new year actually gets activated, and that's in the 41st gate. The start codon starts the whole process around the wheel once again until 2026. Well, if you do an imprint of this year, right? If we go back to 2024 and we did the imprint of January 21st, exactly when the sun moved into the 41st gate, well, you look at the nodes and look where the nodes were. So the nodes in the New Year chart show you your movie. What's the movie that everybody's going to be seeing in 2024, right? So this is what we saw out in the collective. And so the movie is different for 2025, right? And then it switches, right? It switches. So here's what everybody saw was shock, the gate of shock, and this one, the gate, the fear of the unknown, right? The fear of the future, the 57. So this year, last year was a lot about letting go of our fear of the future, letting go of our fear of the unknown. This created a lot of shock and uncertainty in our world, and when we totally saw this movie last year in 2024. So look where it is, right? Look where the letting go of fear and then embracing these shocks, embracing the changes that came, right, as a humanity. And look where it is, 51.5. And that's what Chiron is activating right now. So there's definitely a completion, some kind of completion phase that's happening for us now. Right? That's what I see with Chiron here, and preparing for the new. Right? Preparing for the new. There's 3 of Wands, which I'll talk about in a bit. Okay, so Chiron wants you centered in your higher self, basically, as we move forward. Okay, so it can bring up some deep, deep wounding around our masculine energy, our correct masculine energy. And so, okay. So if we look at this is the tarot card that correlates to the 51.5. And basically this warrior energy here is... okay, it's the 5th line. So it's the gate of shock in the 5th line. And the 5th line is called balance or symmetry. It's called balance or symmetry here. So you got the gate of shock, and then every line, it could be 51.2, 0.3, 0.4, but it's 0.5. So that gives us some information here. And this is about surrender. It's more about surrendering the ego to the divine. What a true warrior is. A true warrior, spiritual warrior, surrenders their ego to the divine. So this is when you have successes in your life and you've gone through a challenge in your life. Who are you thanking? You're not thanking your ego. Your ego had nothing to do with it. You're thanking the divine. With the fifth line, it's recognizing that the power that you have inside you does not belong to the ego. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the divine. That power that you feel belongs to the divine. So you can see the great changes that are coming in 2025 this year. They're going to be huge. Huge changes are afoot for us, that we can't rely on our ego, because the ego is like on shifting sands. This is the not self. And what's going to be happening to this not self in 2025 is going to get more diluted, right? More diluted, more dissolved, because we have so many planets that are in the element of water, right? So a big theme for next year is like letting go of ancestral memory, letting go of ancestral wounding. And so this is like a huge ego death, right? A huge ego death for us. And you can see the movies, right? So the major movie, I won't go into the major movie. I won't go too much into depth here, because this is a Chiron report, is that it's about penetrating through, right? The 4625, that's still going to be activated for the new year, right? Here, this 4625 is still activated. And this is about penetrating through the Maya and seeing the truth, looking beyond appearances. This is a global cycle, what we're going to see. And we are seeing more and more of this. People not buying the propaganda anymore, right? Being able to see through the truth, to the truth. We'll look at January 30th. These are the 4 movies. 1, 2, 3, 4 movies that we're going to be seeing next year. But this is the baseline, right? This 4625. And that's about we're going to be able to penetrate through the Maya to see the truth of the people in their life, the people that are in charge, right? We're going to be able to see it all en masse. This is global awakening time, is 2025. But look what we have here, starting on January 30th till June 13th, right there. The 36, right, is activating the solar plexus, and then the 6th line. The 6th line's gate of conflict, and the 36 is the gate of crises. So conflict and crises, those 2 shadows. This is the movie we're going to be seeing, right? This is the darkening of the light, 36. This is all about ego death. So to me, just looking at the transits in the human design transits in 2025, we are going to be tested, right? But here we're about to move into this solid place. And if you've done your healing work and you've done your shadow work and you've done your inner child work, then you're going to be ready for this. You're going to have your wand, right? Your wand is ready, right? I've made my choice. I'm choosing my higher self. I'm choosing my authenticity, basically, right? For what's coming ahead. Yeah, I'm strong. So Chiron and Aries will say, well, the wounding is, well, I'm not strong, right? I need to be, like, look at him. Is he holding hands with another person or surrounded by a lot of other people? No. This is individual. This is an individual channel, this channel of initiation. You're being initiated into your higher self, and you can only do that alone. This can only be done alone. So this is the savior, wanting a savior. That's the shadow of the 51, the gate of shock, the shadow of agitation. I need a savior. I need somebody else to do it. Right? And you can see this out in the world, and it's like, no, you're the only one that can make the jump and the leap into the unknown. So this is wherever you're being called, and maybe you don't see it. Maybe it's all dark. right? What's ahead of you? It's all dark. I don't know where I'm going. I feel like I have no direction. Well, you've got to trust, right? You've got to trust that heart inside you, your intuition, that you are strong enough to make this leap into the unknown. This is what you're being called to do. And when you make that leap into the unknown, that ego gets weaker and weaker and weaker, and that's your not self, right? Every time you make a choice from your intuition and your heart, you're strengthening your higher self, and that's who you really are. So this is not about clinging to the comforts of the old. Like, the old world is gone. There's no going back to normal. Let's make everything great again. No, it's like it's all about the future now, because we're coming closer and closer to 2027. And that's when the whole global cycle shifts, right? We're in a whole new chapter, right? A major chapter. 400-year cycle is coming, right, for 2027. Okay, so you got to be okay with being alone, because there can be a real fear of being alone with Chiron and Aries, right? Because we've been conditioned to believe that we need others in order to survive, and that's the old way, right? That's the old way. Okay, so if we go to Savior, and maybe you have this, right? Because we've been in this movie. Where's my thing here? We're coming into a new movie, well, with just the axis, right? This is completely changing on January 11th, 2025. We've been in the old, which has been Aries, our north node, and Libra. We're still in it until January 11th. We've been in the school of relationships, and now we're headed into the school of healing, right? For the next 18 months. It's all about healing here. So this Chiron is very much connected to our relationships, right? What have you learned through your Aries was about, I'm being my authentic self now. I'm not going to be the people pleaser anymore. I'm not compromising myself for relationships anymore. And letting go of a savior has been a big one, because we've been conditioned to look for a savior, right, as a humanity. And so this really comes from it's an archetype, this not self savior. And this is all about, it goes back to childhood, right? This dynamic that you had with a parent, right? And this is because in dysfunctional families, which is everybody, the point is, we've been born into this world of darkness. So all of us have had a dysfunctional family. It's just a matter of how severe, right? That's the only difference. Some have been more severe than others, right? So we've been conditioned to do this as children, is put our needs aside and become the martyr, take on the responsibility for a dysfunctional family, especially if you're a black sheep, right? If you're a black sheep, you've done this. You wanted to save your family, and this is what we have to let go of, right? So this is part of the Chiron and Aries healing that needs to take place, right? The blaming yourself, that you have to try harder, that you're completely responsible for everybody in your life, right? And it comes from your family of origin. Maybe if I save them and fix them, then my parent will come, my caregiver will come and fulfill my needs and love me back. And this follows you into adulthood in all your relationships. So this is definitely Chiron and Aries, what you need to let go of. So you become overly responsible for others, and you feel this sense of guilt, right? You're given attention for being selfless, that you have no needs. And basically your childhood was stolen. Like, this is the truth. We all have had our childhood stolen because we've been thrown into these roles, right, as children. So it's time to let go of this and come back to you. This is about you. This is about you. This is your spiritual journey. It's about you. You can't save anybody, right? You need to bring your focus, Aries, back to yourself, right? Back to yourself. And what steps do you need to make, right? What steps do you need to make here? Your next steps. Did I want to talk about that? No, not yet. Okay, so here are some questions for the 51.5, for the gate of shock. Are you waiting for someone to save you? Right? Like, and honestly answer this. And maybe you are. Well, if we go to Chiron and Aries, then there's an identity, because Aries is about identity, when we take on our identity, right? And it's probably from childhood that has this, right? That I'm waiting for someone to save me, for someone to finally love me and tell me I'm okay, right? To empower me. And then you need to dig this up and let it go. That's part of the healing that's going to be taking place in 2025. These old identities have to go. Do your fears of the future stop you from moving forward? Do you feel like you need to compete with others? The 51's very competitive. And what is competition? Competition is so the ego, not self. And it's based in scarcity that you have to fight. Right? You have to fight just to exist, basically. Or you may be the type that, oh, well, I avoid competition. I'm not competitive. And that's just a way of dealing with this competition archetype inside you. And you do this by hiding, by completely hiding. That's not the answer either. This is still this shadow, right? The shadow of agitation in the 51. Do you trust your inner being? Right? Do you trust that divine spark inside you to guide you? Do you trust this, or do you trust your ego? And where are you being called right now to make a leap and to follow your heart? And this is what you need to listen to. No more playing it safe. No more playing it safe. And that's what this says too. The tarot totally agrees with this. No, it's not a time to be playing it safe. It's like to get ready to move forward, because 2025 is going to move very, very fast, right? Okay. Okay. Well, let me look at, okay. So the initiation isn't going to come from ego. That this initiation that we're all being called to do, it's not going to come from ego, right? It's lack of ego is the true initiation. And that's always jumping into the unknown. Always jumping into the unknown. Okay, let me look at some comments and then we'll go into some readings here to give some focus. Okay, we're already at 35. Okay. Satnam, everybody, for writing your stuff down. Great. Okay, lots of old stuff leaving. That's good. Yeah. Got to monk out my last 2 weeks. That's good. Okay. Phantom says, part of my soul tribe because I don't find Michael's voice to be annoying. Yeah, that's always a sign. Like I said before, you're on my fractal. If you resonate with the sound of my voice, and if you don't, then I'm not for you. Okay. CM. Thomas, Satnam. Phantom's got the 51. CM's the 52. That's Cancer. Okay. Chiron, Phantom's got Chiron and Aries in the 5th house. Yeah, so there's some inner child work right there in your creativity. Okay. Okay. And there's no shame in admitting, right, that you have a shadow. There's no shame. This is part of our work, right, is to merge the shadow and the light within us. And then that's how we stop war, is we deal with the war inside of ourselves. It's just the external is just a reflection of our own consciousness and the collective unconscious of humanity. peace treaties and all that. No change until there's a consciousness change. And that's happening in 2025. Like big time. That's happening. Okay. What else did I want to show you? Because I want to give you, good news. Okay. I just read about this yesterday. Okay, where is it? About Pluto. Pluto being out of bounds. So look at this, between 2025 to 2035, Pluto will go out of bounds. And that means in the ecliptic, it's going south. It's going south. For the last time for the next few thousand years, history tells us that a redemption or revolution, a mass awakening of consciousness becomes not only possible, but likely in the times ahead. And that's from Astro.com. So that totally fits with human design as well, right? Okay. So that's good news. So people don't need to get afraid, but you need to be strong, too. Strong in yourself. And it's all about healing. That's a major theme. And we heal by not going to doctors and chiropractors and all that. They're facilitators. What actually does the healing is your own divinity, your authentic self. So a good healer is always directing you back to yourself or creating conditions where you can relax and into your authentic self. Yeah. Okay. Enoch, my gallbladder needs to be removed. Yeah. Yeah. Directly connected to the 51. It's anger, right? It's totally anger. So this is another thing we're going to have to get on board with is the North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo. Virgo is all about work and the details and organization, and that's what we need to leave behind and embrace Pisces, which is being in the flow, right? It's watery. It's I feel. Pisces is about feeling things, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens out in the world with this new energy coming. Yeah. See, Enoch, it totally runs through your ancestral line. Your mother's got it. Yeah. Okay. Rhonda, thankful to be here. We're thankful you're here too. Splenic projector. Pretty miserable these days. I'm sick of it. Yeah. Okay, so watch your language, right? With the sick of it. You're ready for change. That's all. Evolving beyond, ready for change. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, great. Yeah. Well, that's the Lori Brown. Caught myself people-pleasing Christmas Eve to keep the peace. Yeah, and just about being aware of it. Oh, here it is. It's very humbling to be with your family of origin. Because all that at least I didn't lash out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, what I want to do now, I want to get out of this. We'll go to the astrology here. So people have a sense of what the 51's all about. I have it twice. Yeah, I have it twice in my chart. So I know it. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say too, I don't have the astrology. My astrology, when Chiron went direct, but take my word for it. It's 19 degrees. It's a 19 degrees of Aries. And that correlates to the 51, and 19 degrees is a Libra degree. So again, more information that it's about our relationships, because January 11th, 25, we're at a relationship school and we're into healing school, right? Pisces is, we're into spiritual school, right? And this is all about a graduation in a sense, right? We're becoming spiritual adults with this Chiron placement. Okay. So I'm going to start with the, I'm going to start with the astrology. Let's take my time here. Overlays. And so you want to, where's Aries? Where's Aries? Okay. So this is for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising. I got to get my astrology wheel out. And then we'll look out how this plays out for the Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising. And if on the replay, if you're jumping right into Aries, be sure to watch the beginning of the video to learn more. And okay, that I don't need. And then Aries. In the first house. Okay. So basically the 51st, what you've been working on, right? It's going direct on soon, December 29th, I think, or 30th, depends where you live in the world, is it's happening Aries in your first house. In your first house. So this is all about you. You've been really working on this, your identity, right? Your identity. And this is your approach to life, right? Your approach to life, the mask you wear, right? So this is asking you, what are you afraid of? What's stopping you? Something's stopping you from making that leap. The 51 is about leaping into your higher self. It's about diluting the ego. So I would look at competition. Aries are competitive anyway, right? Do you believe that you got to compete with other people? Or do you avoid competition by hiding, right? Or do you trust your inner being? Huge identity. So maybe you've gone through a huge identity transformation, right? As an Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And your self-identity, this is like letting go of the ego's image. This is what happens with us. This is all signs, right? The ego creates this mental image that we have of ourselves, a self-concept. That's not who we are. As soon as we let the ego define who we are, we immediately are limited, right? We're limited. We put ourselves in a box. And you're a great soul. All the signs are great souls, right? So as soon as you do, you don't want to put yourself and limit yourself and label yourself. So I would say with the Aries this is a time for a new start, right? So you've already been working on this with this 55 in your first house, and now it's going direct, right? So now it's like just allow this new identity, whatever it is, it's going to be truer to who you really are. 2025 is about ripping the masks off. That's what healing is. It's a big healing theme for 2025. And healing means ripping away of not self, right? And what's left behind is you, your authentic self. That's what's left behind. You don't need to go out and try to find yourself. It's already in there. It's just been buried, right? Buried by these false identities from your conditioning, right? So, and be loving your body up too, because the first house is body, and there's 56, right? This is about letting go of the hatred of the body, the 46, and then accepting of yourself. So Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, they're going to be the embodiment of this 51.5, right? the embodiment of their truth, And that's what Satnam is in Kundalini Yoga and meditation. This is about living your truth. Not only being the truth, but living as the truth and then spreading the truth for this new age. So you would have been tested on your identity through these times. So it's time to move forward with this new identity with Chiron and Aries in the first house. Okay. So let's go for Taurus. Okay. So Taurus, moon, sun, arising. Taurus, sun, moon, arising. Chiron has been activating your 12th house. The 12th house for Taurus. Right there. So Taurus, you want to go back and look at the beginning of this video to learn more about this 51st gate. You see, Chiron has been activating the 51st gate for you. You've been reflecting on things. And the 12th house could be, it's self-undoing, it's called the 12th house. And this is about things that you do to sabotage yourself. Right? This is subconscious patterns that you do that maybe followed you lifetime after lifetime, the 12th house. Letting go of things that addictions, could be addictions too that you're letting go of. Behavior that's not aligned with your greatest self. Trying to stop this transmutation that happened, you know? Because the 51, the city of the 51 is awakening. Right? So it's the shadow of agitation, which is the fear of shocks. But then it's awakening. That's the city. And the gift is initiation, initiating yourself to awakening. So there's been a lot of reflection, like some old stuff. Because when it was in retrograde, some old stuff started to come up for the Taurus. For the Taurus here. Anything you use to escape. That would have been shown to you with Chiron. Anything you use to escape reality. Escape reality. Here. Solitude. You may have spent a lot of time alone. Taurus, because that's a solitude house, is the 12th house. Living for others. This is sacrifice, but not in a good way. Right? This is living for others. So if you're placed in solitude, solitary confinement by the divine, then you would have been faced with this stuff, like all the ways that you used to escape. And this is like victim, right? The 12th house is also the victim house. So seeing those patterns that are keeping you from stepping forward, right? With the 51, it's about initiating into the unknown. Right? Moving into the next chapter of your life and letting go of these old patterns. So I would look, Taurus, at your dreams. What kind of dreams have you been having in this since July 26? That's going to give you a lot of information too about what you're letting go of here. And it's all about your past karma, right? Your past karma when you couldn't assert yourself. Right? With Chiron and Aries, where you couldn't assert yourself. You were powered over. But I would look at your relationships, right? Because it's in the 19th degree, Chiron, and that's Libra. Yeah. Where you sacrificed yourself for others. Where you came last, right? Everybody else, you gave way more priority, and yourself was last. And so there can be pain there and grief too to deal with. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. And waiting. You have to watch that too, Taurus. That's like subconscious program. Well, if I fix them or if I save them, well, you got to look at the subconscious motivation could be, well, then they'll save me, right? I'll save them and then they save me, to dig that up too. But it's time to make a leap and follow your heart. So you just close your eyes, or you have a meditation, and then you just listen to your inner being, right? And then you step forward. But it's going direct, so you're moving out of this energy. Okay. And so let's go to Taurus. Let me know if you're in this sign too. Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising here. And that's going to be 12, the 11th house. The 11th house. Okay. So this is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And this is all about Chiron going direct. And it's activating the 51st gate in human design. That's the gate of shock right there, Chiron. And Chiron's a key, right? It's a key to get to your highest potential, right? So you want to look at it natally too. And let me know if you are Chiron and Aries natally, because you'll resonate with this. Or you have the 51 somewhere in your chart. Let me know. Okay. And with the 11th house, this is about your friends. It's about your friends. So where have you not been asserting yourself? Chiron and Aries is all about want you to assert yourself, your authentic self, in your friendships. Or are you too busy people pleasing with your friends? Not really speaking your mind, right? Not feeling like you have any right to even have an opinion, because that 17 is Aries too. It's not activated, but it was. Do you feel like you need to compete with your friends? You need to compete for your friends, or do you avoid competition? And where are you being called to make a leap and follow your heart? Maybe the friendships with the 51 and the 51.5 for Geminis has been, they're not supportive of you being your authentic self. Maybe you learned who I don't want as a friend. I don't want them as a friend, right? Who I don't want. Maybe you learn that through this reflection, right, Gemini? So as soon as you let this go and trust and make the leap, and the leap is like, well, what if I'm all alone? What if I end up being all alone like this 3 of Wands guy, right? What if I'm all alone? Well, the universe doesn't like a vacuum. This is going to allow a space. It's like, you know what? I deserve better than this, than these friends that I have around me, where I feel like so crappy, or I've got to play this role that's not me, that I've outgrown, Gemini, right? That putting your foot down and saying, you know what, I deserve better than this. I'd rather be alone than be with the wrong crowd, right? Well, the universe doesn't like a vacuum, and you stand on your own, and then the soul tribe will start coming to you. So Chiron is like, stand up for yourself. And maybe you have like a little sense of like, these people aren't for you. But as soon as you start asserting yourself, they'll let you know pretty quickly if they're for you or not, because they'll react to your authenticity, you know? So maybe you want to be with friends that aren't out all drinking and gossiping and negative, right, in a negative vibe all the time. Maybe you want to be with high vibe people, right? So it's about you getting out of your comfort zone and saying, no, I don't want this anymore, especially with 2025 coming. Right? 2020, you want to be with the right people. And remember that there's a saying that you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? This is the influence our friends have on us. So you want high vibe friends, and you deserve that, right? So you become the people that you want surrounding you, you become that person. Right? You become that person, and then you'll attract them to you. Yeah. And Chiron too in the 51 says this is hopes and dreams too, the 11th house. So your hopes and dreams are also going to be high vibe now, right? Your hopes and dreams. Okay. Okay. Gemini rising. I see one there. Indigo. Yeah. Yeah, Indigo 80. You deserve better. You want high quality friends. And you'll attract them. But we never, if we're clinging to something, we're clinging to something out of fear, not wanting to make that leap, then they're not going to come, right? There's no room for them to come in. Okay. So let's go for Cancer. So this is Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And that's going to be in your 10th house, right? 12, 11, 10. 10th house. Okay. So this is about your social standing. Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Your social status. So you want to watch the beginning of the video to learn more about this 51. So Chiron is going direct now in the 51st gate in the 5th line. And this is all about social standing. So Chiron in Aries says, right, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I've got no self-worth. I've got no self-esteem. Maybe I compensate this, Cancer, by hiding in my shell, my little Cancer shell. It can bring up wounding around your work and your career. So you've had quite a while now, July 26th, retrograde, to experience this wounding around your 10th house. I would also go to your father, Cancer. What kind of role did your father play in your life? Right? Because often in our workplace and just in our life, we meet our father, right? Or absence of father, whatever your experience was, in our workplace. And so those same feelings that we felt as children when our father was absent, or he didn't recognize us, he didn't provide guidance or protection, then we're going to feel that in our career space, right? But it's the same feelings. Yeah. So this was about your reputation, your duty, your responsibility here. And it's Aries. Okay. So not, afraid to make that next step. So maybe your intuition has been telling you, you know what, Cancer, you got to quit that job, right? You got to quit that job. It's going nowhere. And your intuition is saying it's time to put your shingle out, right? And be an entrepreneur. Step into a whole new place, because this is the unknown. The 51 is the unknown. In 2025, especially if you're working in an institution that's like the Titanic that's going down with the cross of planning, these institutions, they're all going down. If you're too reliant on that, it's not going to work, right? We have to embrace flexibility and adaptability now. And 2025 is really going to show us that. So maybe you're being called to initiate the 51 to the 25 that's more aligned, like a career that's more aligned with who you are. And you're not listening, like you're refusing to listen. And 51 is the gallbladder, and that's anger. So anger can come up here, right? So, and I would, in terms of healing, I would take it back to the father, any father wound that you have. That's probably what it's about. Remember, 2025, the big theme in 2025 is healing. Anything else about this? Just to know, whatever you've been going through in the last couple months, it's related to Chiron getting you more authentic, more real, more aligned, not trying to please the external, not trying to get the approval of that father that you never got, right? And you're trying to play it out in your career. You want to look at your true motivation, Cancer. Like, why am I motivated to do this? Why am I so driven to do this? Is it true to me? Or is it my inner child looking to get what he or she didn't get when they were children, right? That's what. Chiron, the wound goes deep, right? The wounding goes deep. Okay. So that's Cancer. Okay. And then let's go for Leo. Sun, Moon, or Rising. So Leo, if you've jumped on, be sure to watch the beginning of the video to learn more about this 51. So this is about Chiron finally going direct, right? In the 51st gate, 5th line. And so this is the willpower center, and it's jumping into your most authentic self, your authentic self here. So what does this say? Well, Chiron's been testing you. Around what? 9th house. So it's been really testing you with your faith, right? Your faith and beliefs, right? So it could be, because if you look at Leo, Pisces rules the Leo Sun, Moon, or Rising, rules their 8th house. And what's the 8th house? The 8th house is the divine, but it's investment. It's like investment. What does this say? Out of all the signs, it's the divine that's investing in Leo, right? Investing in Leo. And you've had Saturn there sitting like Mr. Cold Blanket. Saturn, the chilly winds, right? It's cold, coming into your 8th house, which is delay and stopping and obstacles and all of that stuff, right? So it would have affected your faith. Well, Chiron in the 9th house, your faith. Things are not as flowy, right? Pisces is about flow, and Saturn's been in there in your 8th house, right? So a test of faith in the divine for these times. And this could have made you very pessimistic, right? Very pessimistic. So that's where you were tested to always have faith. You need to always have faith, even when the presence, because Leos can really feel this presence, the presence of God and the divine, just because Pisces rules their 8th house, is to have faith even when you don't feel the divine. I'm not feeling the divine. I'm not in tune with my intuition. It's not as strong, but I'm still going to have faith. Right? This is Shaktipad, right? This is the dark night of the soul. Shaktipad is when you and your ego are together in a room and there's no connection. There's no connection to the divine. It feels like the divine went away. And this is what you have. This is the leap. This is what we all have to make, this leap from the 51 into the 25. I don't feel the presence of the divine, but I'm trusting that the year will catch me. Right? If I make the leap, that's what faith is, that the divine will catch me anyway, even if I have no idea. It's like this, I don't feel the presence, I don't see it, there's no proof, there's nothing, but I'm going to make the leap anyway. So this would have been your test of faith with Chiron in the 51st gate for Leos. So now it's moving forward, right? It's moving forward. And things will get better, especially when Saturn leaves your 8th house. Okay. Okay, so faith. Keep the faith for the Leos. Keep your optimism, 9th house. Higher-minded, right? Stay on the mountain, right? That's the big view of the 9th house. But stay optimistic and keep the faith. That's what I say for Leos. Okay. Okay, so let's go for Virgo here. So Virgo, be sure to watch the beginning of the video to learn more about Chiron in the 51. So Chiron's finally going direct. It's been retrograde in there since July 26. getting you to look at something, right? A deep, deep wounding about asserting yourself. Asserting yourself. This is the correct masculine energy, right? Your correct masculine energy, so that you can make this leap now for 2025. And this is the leap into your divine self, right? Your higher self, your inner being, right here. It's the channel of initiation. And it's been in the 8th house, right? Yeah, the 8th house. So this is huge for the Virgos. Right? And you got a big year coming up next year because the whole karmic axis is changing. South node Virgo, North node Pisces. So this is the dark night of the soul for the Virgos. And huge transformation house, right? Huge. So Chiron in there would be like all your deepest wounding around you, right? Around you, your identity, who you are, right? And how others value you, right? Do other people value me? Do others value me in the 8th house for Virgos? Some of those questions coming up, right? And then that's this. Right? Do others value me? Are they showing me that they value me? Do others value me? Then this comes to like, well, do I need to compete with others? All that stuff would have come up in the 8th house. Or do I avoid competition by hiding? Deep fears of the future would come up with the 8th house, right? Trust would come up with the 8th house. Like your deepest phobias and fears will come up in the 8th house. This is a rebirthing house. Rebirthing house. So, of course, with the 8th house, if you're not doing the inner work proactively, then the external will bring these wounds to you, right? So you'll attract people that don't value you so that you can feel this. I don't feel valued. I don't feel valued. And the whole point now is to feel. Remember, Virgo's about work. And Pisces is about feel. I'm just going to feel it. That's all you have to do to heal it is feel it. Like feeling unsupported by people too, with the 51.5. Feeling powerless, that would have come up too here. Crises, some kind of healing crises coming up here. And really it's about clearing this out like a clearinghouse, right? The 8th house is a clearinghouse for all of those fears that are stopping you from moving forward on your journey, right? So that you're stronger now. And now 51 is going, Chiron 51 is going direct. It's finally going direct and it will be moving out of that house. Yeah. Yeah. So look at that. What's stopping you? Feel, right? Feel anything that, and sometimes even in our dreams, it's like, oh, I don't know where to go with that. Well, sometimes even before you go to sleep at night, you set your intention. I really want to clear up this feeling like I have no worth and feeling valueless and people don't value me. And it's like you just set that intention out and then it will come through the dream world. Okay. So you want to be called. Where are you being called to make a leap? And you want to follow your heart and make that leap and trust. Okay. So that's Virgo. And let's go for Libra. So Libra, we're talking about the 51st gate. Chiron is activating the 51st gate coming from your willpower center. And that, of course, is going to be in your 7th house. In your 7th house. So this is all about your relationships, right? Your committed relationships. This Chiron has been working through your relationships. Can I assert myself within my relationships? Can I express who I am, who I truly am in relationship? And maybe Libra, it's really easy for you to do this when you're on your own, right? But when it comes to your relationships, it's a different story. So this would have bring codependency, would have come up with Chiron. Those codependent patterns, people-pleasing patterns would have come up. And so that you can clear it up. And this would come up for Libra, with the Libra rising, sun or moon. Can I make that leap on my own? Right? Libra is the relationship zodiac sign. Can I be the 3 of Wands, ready to leap, the 51, ready to leap into my higher self when no one's around me? Do I feel confident enough to be alone? Right? To be myself, knowing that I can make it on my own. I don't have to be dependent on other people. Well, it would have brought this up. This fear of loneliness, fear of I can't do this, my survival depends on other people, all that kind of stuff, right? For Libra. Libra, sun, moon, or rising. Okay. And then we have Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising. So we're talking Scorpio. We're talking about Chiron going direct, finally, in the 51st gate. So be sure to watch the beginning of the video to learn more about this. Right? In the 51st gate, so you've been in reflection, because it's been Chiron's been retrograde since July 26. If you go back to July 26, activating this 51st gate, right? So this is about can I move forward in my life, right? Can I move forward into my life? Can I be initiated? This is the channel of initiation, the 2551. Can I be initiated into this whole new chapter in my life? And what's stopping me from listening to my heart, following my intuition? Well, it's going to be about your body, right? With the 6th house, it's going to be about your health. Right? So I can't. This might have been something that these wounds have come up. Can I count on my body? I want to make the leap. I want to follow my heart, but I've got this body that's sick. Right? My body is sick. My body is ill. Well, your body's not that. Your body has disease. It means you're out of balance, right? The 6th house is about getting more into balance. And the 6th house, why, in terms of disease or illness or sickness, whatever you had to deal with in the 6th house, like your body not feeling strong, it's just showing you that you're out of balance, right? So this is how we learn, right? We're in Earth School. So you go out of balance so that so you purposefully getting out of balance. This is what your soul's doing. Putting you out of balance, your body's out of balance, so that you can find the solution to get yourself back into balance, right? And Scorpios can be extreme. It's an extreme fixed water sign, right? So this is about trusting your body. So it would have been a deep wound. And what does Chiron and Aries want you to do? It wants you to surrender. It wants you to surrender your ego to the divine, right? And it's the 5th line, and this is all about balance. It's all about balance. So surrendering your ego to the divine, which means my ego, I've tried everything, right? I've had this like ongoing chronic problem with my body. I've tried everything. I've listened to my ego. Do you think that ego is going to help you be well and healthy and vital so you can do your soul's destiny? No, that ego will not. That's like telling the mouse, here, you guard the cheese. I trust you the most. You're going to be the guardian of the cheese, right? No, what this has taught you is to surrender it all to the divine. Right? I can't find the solution for this. I've tried everything. I'm just going to give it up to you. I'm giving it up to you, divine. And that's when the answers come. That's when the solutions come, when you give it up to the divine. Right? So this is like a humbling in the 6th house, Scorpio, is a humbling of the ego. Right? It's been a gift for you to humble that big ego and then answer to the divine, right? And your divine is completely connected to the inner being that's already inside you. And that's what knows. That's what has the solutions for you, right? And letting go of any identification that you have with your body, that you're more than this body, more gifts that Chiron has been giving you here, right? And the 5th line is, I'm giving all the praise to the divine. I didn't do anything. I didn't heal myself. The divine healed me. Yeah. Okay. And a good way to work more through this Chiron in the 51.5, because it is going direct, is service, right? So often the divine puts us in these situations so that we can be of service to others, right? And that's like, oh yeah, I went through this problem with my body too. This is what I did. And then you share that, right? You share that with other people. And this is your Pluto. You moved Pluto for the last 16 years was in your 3rd house, which was all about the mind. Right? All about the mind. And I'm going to figure out my emotions. And I'm going to figure out everything. Everything's been filtered through my mind. And now you've had the rude awakening. Because Pluto now, Scorpio, is in your 4th house. And that's all about your emotions. Right? So this is saying with the 4th house and 6th house activation here, because Mars is your ruler and so is Pluto, it's time to share, right? With others. What you've learned with your 6th house, and that will help with your healing. That's the medicine, is you serve, selfless service. I'm going to help other people with their problems. I'm going to help other people, empower other people to solve their own problems with the things that I've learned, right? I'm going to share 4th house, my emotions with others, not just my family, but the people just in my world, basically, right? Okay, so that's what we got for Scorpio. And let's go for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right. And so we're talking about Chiron activating the 51st gate here. So be sure to watch the beginning of the video if you just jumped on. Right. So now it's going direct, Sagittarius. And it's going direct in your 1, 2, 3, 4. Your 5th house. Right? Your 5th house, Chiron. So this is all about your creativity. Right? Your creativity, but it's an expression of your creative self, your authentic self. So there could have been some wounding that came up, right? This is totally inner child work. Right, the 5th house, this is inner child. Where you couldn't express yourself, right? Creatively express who you are, that wounding would have come up. Where you couldn't set a boundary, your boundaries weren't respected as a child, right? All of that stuff would have come up with the 51st. And this is, what I see here is like stopping you from making that leap into your higher self. Stopping you from making that next step, right? Where you're being called to make a leap into the unknown and follow your heart. Well, that childhood stuff would come up, right? Well, and it's memory, right? It's total memory. And our memories are held in our bodies and the fluids, and those are these are getting a huge cleansing in 2025. So this is setting you up for this for this journey of healing, like deep, deep healing that's coming. And so this is children. So if you're a parent, it could play out with your own children or your inner child, or both if you're a parent. So this is being spontaneous, right? Imagine a child, right? This is the Leo house, right? Traditionally the Leo house. This is like a child that's like natural and spontaneous and just filled with joy, right? So some part of you got wounded back in the past. And this is what Chiron wants you to look at. Where are you stopping yourself from being joyful? Where are you stopping yourself from expressing yourself in a natural way, right? Where do you get into competing? Who taught you that? You had to compete with others, that you couldn't just be yourself. All that stuff will come up, right? This is about loving yourself. It's about self-love, right? Self-love. It's the divine child, right? It's the divine child. It's storytelling, right? Storytelling, things to explore, but now it's going direct, right? It's going direct. And now you're ready. We're ready to make that big leap. Okay, there's the Sagittarius. But it's all about expressing yourself. Expressing yourself. That's where the wound is. Capricorn. We're talking about Chiron activating the 51st gate. So watch the beginning of the video to learn more about this. And this is happening in your home, right? It's happening in your home. So this is about the fear of moving forward, the fear of the future, fear of taking that next step, making the leap, following your heart. Capricorns are not so good at this, following their heart, because the fourth house is traditionally ruled by Cancer, and that's your opposite sign, right? Capricorns are more happy and comfortable in the 10th house, right? With work and duty and responsibility. So this is coming up for the Capricorns, right? The fourth house with Aries has been in there. And this is your internal self, right? This is your emotional body, your astral body. It's the fourth house. So this is about going back to like your emotional security. Your emotional security. Maybe it activated your emotional body, those old memories, right? Those old stuck emotions with the Chiron activating your fourth house. Maybe stuff around your mother, right? How you nurture and comfort yourself. Maybe there's stuff around there too. Maybe you weren't nurtured as a child, right? Emotionally nurtured and comforted by your mother or whatever. And this stuff has come up, right? That it's like, okay, I want to make the leap, but I've got these emotions, right? I feel fear, and everybody feels fear, right? It's part of being a human, is that we feel this fear moving into the unknown. It's like an ancient fear. It comes from our ancestors, right? We have this fear of the unknown, but we have to transcend it. So the 51.5 could be like, do I have what it takes, right? In the fourth house, can I really do this? Or I have to wait until I feel better, until these emotions are gone. And it's like you'll be waiting forever, right? So it's just to feel the fear and go. And to learn the 51.5 there is to learn how to emotionally self-regulate or emotionally take care of yourself and nurture yourself, and not relying on other people to do that for you, right? With the fourth house. It's just dealing with some old stuff from your past, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And taking care of yourself, learning to self-care. Yeah. And I've noticed with some of my, because I have a few Capricorn people in my life, rising sun and moon, going through stuff around their body, right? Around their body, where they caught something and they have to stop and they can't work, right? They can't work. And they're being forced to take care of themselves. So that could be like that Chiron wound, right? In the 4th house. So just be aware of that to bring more of the Cancer into balance, right? It's all about balance now. Okay. So that's Capricorn. And then we're at Aquarius. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And that's in your 3rd house. Okay. So we're talking about Chiron activating the 51st gate. So watch the beginning of the video if you haven't already. And so this is about, the 51 is about going direct now. You've had all this time to reflect, and this is about your mind and your thinking. So maybe you got to dig up those ugly thoughts, right? With Chiron and Aries, crippling self-doubt and low self-worth, not feeling acceptable, finding it hard to stand up for yourself, people-pleasing, or asking for what you want, Aquarius. And so Chiron wants you to look at your own mind and your thinking. And this is your conscious thought, right? The 3rd house is conscious thought. The way you communicate. Are you able to communicate? Are you able to assert yourself using your voice, right? Using your communication skills. Yeah. Or do I just blow it off, right? Do I just blow it off? Well, there would have been wounding around your communication, right? And Aquarius is an air sign. And maybe that's been very humbling for you, Aquarius, right? Aquarius can get very caught up in their mind and their intellect. And here they have Chiron moving through their 3rd house. Early childhood development, maybe before your mind kicked in, you had communication. Maybe you had stuttering or something like that that's come up for you, where you've been impeded in terms of your communication. Because the thing is, we have to learn to communicate from our emotions now, right? 2025 is really going to show us that. It's all about feeling now as we move into the future. It's feeling, but also being able to communicate from that place. So this is what I see here, is that you're learning that, right, with the 51 there, so that you can make that leap into the higher self, I would also look at your siblings too, if some wounding came up around that, right? Feeling adequate with your skills, with your skill set, your sociability. I felt really wounded around like my social thing tanked, or I'm not really interested in. I feel insecure in social situations. This is all new to me for Aquarius. That all was coming up. So that this wound, this wound is about you getting authentic, right? You getting authentic and real. Yeah, so that you can now follow your heart. You don't want to follow your head, you want to follow your heart now, right? Let your heart lead you. And learning the new skill. How do I communicate from my heart, Aquarius? Okay. And you've got Pluto there. Pluto in the 1st house for the next 20 years. So you're going through a huge, ask your Capricorn friends, right, what they went through. You're going to be coming out a completely different person. So Chiron's getting you ready for new ways of communicating and thinking about things too. Okay, so then Pisces. Pisces. And that's in the 2nd house, right? In the 2nd house. And that's all about your sense of self-value, Pisces. So 51, Chiron going direct in the 51st gate. Right? And this is individual. Remember, this is an individual gate. It's an individual channel, the channel of initiation. It's about you jumping into the unknown, jumping into your higher self. And you're Pisces. So you're already locked and loaded for that, right? In this incarnation, if you have a Pisces sun, moon, or rising, this is about your spiritual self, your spiritual self. So you got that, but where the wound's coming up is around money, right? So this is like since July 26th, like how do I make my money? Do I have value in the world? Right? I don't feel like I have worth. My self-esteem has been coming up. Maybe you've been forced into a situation where, you lost your job or your income is lost, and it's brought up all this stuff. And that's what usually happens when people go through money issues. They're not money problems. The real problems are your sense of self-worth and self-value. That's the real problem. The money is just like the symptom. It's just a symptom of something that's deeper. So this would have totally come up. And this is about surrendering, right? Surrender this to the divine. Surrender that to the divine. That I'm not conflating my self-worth with my net worth, right? Those are two different things. I value myself if I've got $5 in my bank account or 5 billion, right? My self-worth remains the same. That's what Pisces was learning here. Just the wounding of like, can I take care of myself materially? That's another one. Can I really take care of myself materially on the material realm? Could be around your voice too. The second house is your voice as well. So wounding around the voice. Okay, so that's Pisces. And that's it there. So let me look at any comments. Hopefully that helped people. Okay, let's look at the comments. Okay. Faith over fear. That's right. Leo rising. Okay. That's great. Okay. So now we're going to do the twin flames. And let me know if you're a twin flame in the comments section, if you're watching the replay or here on the chat. Here. Okay. Okay. And where's the twin flames? Okay. We just have some water. We'll get this out of the way. Okay. Okay. The twin flames. So, the twin flames, remember, divide into the chaser and the runner. The chaser and the runner. So really, the bottom line with the chaser and the runner, this is like, I was meditating on this the other day. It's like a technique by the divine, right? This is like a technique, like a meditation or a retreat or a sweat lodge right? The divine is like, okay, it's taking these people a long time to awaken, this humanity. We got to speed things up. So in comes a new technique, and that's the twin flame connection, right? So this is like uber, and remember the 51, twin flames, we're talking about Chiron going direct in the 51. And the city, the divine gift of the 51 is called awakening. Awakening. And that's exactly what the twin flame connection is about, right? It's about awakening. Awakening you as the individual. Either you identify with the runner or the chaser or both or neither. It's about your individual awakening. right? By this mirror, this uber mirror that comes into your life to show you, right? Show you your deepest wounding, to show you your Chiron, right? The twin flame will help you to do that. So your deepest wounding can be seen. And if it's twin flame connection, it's felt and seen, this deep, deep wounding. So you're going to have it natally, wherever your Chiron is, in your natal chart, your astrology chart, and your human design chart. But this is a global transit. So this is all about you, your authentic self, the 51. And it's about making that next step on your journey. And so not fearing, and the 51, like I said before, it's an individual channel. This is the channel of initiation. It's being initiated into a whole new world, right? Especially in 2025 here. So the mirror, yes, it shows the deepest wounding, but it also shows your greatness. Your greatness. That's also the mirror. So this often happens with the, if we break it down to the chaser and the runner, everything's all good at the beginning, right? And then the separation happens. So what happens is the chaser can show that mirror, right? The deepest wounding, yeah, but also the greatness. And that's another reason why the runner runs. They're seeing their deepest wounding, but they're also seeing their potential and their greatness. And the chaser can see the potential in the runner, right? Can see their potential, can see their greatness, right, within them. The runner, too, can see the greatness of the chaser and the wounding, too. But this is a reason why the runner will run. It's like, I'm not that. Because as soon as you see your potential, right, as soon as you see your potential mirrored back to you, you know that to get there is a hurdle, right? This not a hurdle like a wall, like the tallest brick cement wall. That's what the runner sees, and that's the work. That's the inner work that they have to do. The inner work. And this is also what they're running from. This is their ego is running from, this inner work, right? To their power. But there's the greatness. They can see it. They've got a glimpse of this greatness, right? I wanted to add that. So let's do some cards, the ego card for this 51. And it's going to be all about healing twin flames next year in 2025. That's a major theme, is healing, because the North Node, South Node, North Node, this is the karmic axis, is all about relationships the last 18 months, and then healing is next year, and that's Virgo, South Node Virgo, and North Node Pisces, and that's spirituality with Pisces. Okay. Let's see here. Let me know, the twin flames that are here, if you can relate to that. Seeing your greatness in your twin. Seeing the potential of your twin. And seeing them run away from their potential. Out of low self-esteem, low self-worth. From listening to their ego. And listening to that, well, the ego tells me I'm this. This is the image that I have. And it's not truly you, right? It's coming from the ego. Okay, what do we have for the chasers? What do the chasers need to know? What's the ego that's the ego? What's preventing the chaser from stepping forward? What does the chaser need to know in the twin flame connection? That's funny. Okay, and then the runner. What does the runner need to know? What does the runner need to know? Okay. What does the runner need to know? I think just to shut it down. Yep. There we go. And then dice. Okay. There we go. Okay. And what's the chaser have? Okay. Let's go for guidance for the chaser. What's the guidance for the chaser? And with the runner, what's the guidance for the runner? What's the guidance for the runner? What's the guidance for the runner? Okay, interesting. Okay. So the ego card for the chaser is called Groupthink. And then the guidance is the Queen of Wands. Okay, so the 51. So this is people pleasing 101. So the 51st, right? Chiron and Aries. Right, if we go back here. It's crippling self-doubt. These are the symptoms, and lack of self-worth. So this would go back to, for the chaser, is not trusting your own voice. Not trusting your own voice. Looking around, right? Looking around at others. This is our conditioning. There's no judgment here. This is our conditioning. We are conditioned to move in little herds. That's why we're called sheep, right? To move in little herds and little groups, because this is our ancestors. Our ancestors are like, you're safer in a group, you're safer in a group. And as soon as you enter into a group, that group ego swoops in. And that's like, you have to agree with everything that we say and think and behave, and it's all unconscious, because you may think like you're the, no way, I'm a rebel, man. I don't listen to anybody. It's like, no, this is deep, deep within us right here. So this is about looking to the crowd, looking to the crowd. This is where the ego is stopping you from moving forward. And so this could be a past life memory too, of when I did move around, move away from the crowd, or I got kicked out of the tribe, which could be like, even more modern terms, could be like the witch burnings, right? Where you got removed from the crowd, or you stood out from the crowd and something happened. 51 is about standing out as one, a community of one. Right? And in terms of twin flame, this is like, that's why twin flames don't talk about this with other people, because other people don't understand this. It's just out of their realm. It's out of their experience, right? So this is what the ego is deeply, deeply blocking you from moving forward, is I'm really going to step away from the crowd now, right? I'm really called to step away from the crowd and to be my unique self. Right? And not to fall for this, not get pulled, right, by the crowd. So you could even look at it like, we're still in the holiday season. If you're with your family of origin, do you find that maybe some people-pleasing dynamics come up? It's like, that's what this is, right? This group. And it was all about our survival. So again, you feel the fear, the 51. I feel the fear, but I'm listening to my heart and my intuition, because this is about your awakening. The 51 is about your awakening, right? Your awakening. So it's the gate of shock. So when I met with the unknown, what am I going to do? I'm going to choose to listen to my heart. I'm going to choose to listen to my intuition. That's what I trust. I don't trust the crowd anymore. This is the old ancestral way. It's not the new. This is actually dangerous. It was safe at one time, but now it's dangerous. So the guidance for the chasers is the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands does not give an F about what people think of her, right? She does not care, right, of her. She doesn't care about that. She doesn't care. She's just herself, right? She's confident. And confident comes from the root word confide, which is to confide in your own source, right? Your own inner being. That's what you're going to trust, your inner being, and you're just yourself. And if that means people are triggered by your authenticity, then let it be. If that means you spend nights alone, let it be. You want to be true to yourself. The worst thing to do is to give yourself away to a crowd, right? To a crowd of people for their approval, which is a joke, because these people don't even know who they are. And there they are judging you because you're being your unique self. So she's optimistic, right? There, I love she's got the black cat energy. She's just there with her black cat. She's confident, charismatic. She's independent. She's financially stable. She's self-sovereign. So that's a real easy move, right? So to watch that, because this Chiron could have been bringing that up for you, chasers. And then let's look at the runner. And the runner's got shut it down. Shut it down. And what is the runner shutting down? They're shutting down the heart. They're shutting down their inner being. They're shutting down their intuition. They're basically chopping their legs off and their arms off, because that's spiritually what they're doing. When a runner does this, shuts down their heart, shuts down their inner being, shuts down their intuition, they are wounding themselves. Right? That's what they're doing spiritually, chopping their legs off, chopping their arms off, right? They're completely defenseless, right? They've got no defenses in the spiritual world. And why do they do this? Because they don't want to feel, right? They do not want to feel. Because as soon as you start feeling, then you start to feel the wounds, those deep wounds. And it's uncomfortable, Right? So they go cold. They go cold. And as soon as you go cold, as soon as you're disconnected from your intuition and your inner being and your heart, then who are you listening to? You're listening to that big fat ego, right? You're listening to the not self. And what does the not self do? That doesn't want you to go into their feelings, doesn't want the runners to go into their feelings. Well, then they're going to judge. Right? Then they're going to judge other people. Oh, that person's unstable, right? That person is crazy, right? That person, how can they survive? There's all this judgment, because this is their own judgment towards themselves. So they may do that to the twin. They may completely project on the twin this, right? But it's really about them listening to their ego, and it's their own judgment. They're judging themselves. If they feel, then they're going to be weak. They're going to be crazy, called crazy. They're going to be delusional, whatever it is. Whatever, again, it's the mirror. Whatever the runner is projecting on to the chaser, it's them. It's totally them. It has nothing to do with the chaser, right? So if you're a chaser and you're like being a receptacle for this, don't. Put up the shield and say, that's not me. That's the runner, right? It's their own judgment towards themselves, right? So, and still have compassion, of course, right? You still have compassion. And then this is what they got. The runner. The runner's being burdened. They're being burdened. This is the Ten of Wands, right? So they're being burdened by this way of living, right? It's not working for them anymore, and it won't. Because trying to block the twin flame energy is like trying to block a tsunami. It's futile. You can never use the ego to fight the divine. The ego is like a teeny weeny, like a baby of a mosquito. It's like so little in comparison. So this is what's the breaking point is coming for the runners. That's what this says, right? So this is like a burden, a responsibility, a duty, a stress. It's burnout. This is burnout. And it's because they're not letting the energy flow, right? They're listening to the ego to shut it down because they're terrified of feeling, right? They're terrified of feeling. What are they terrified of feeling? Is love, because that's what's trying to reach them, is unconditional love. That's what they're terrified of, right? Which is crazy. But in order to feel that unconditional love, they've got to feel all of that hurt and pain, right? That's blocking it. So this is the deep, deep wounding that the chaser and runner are in right now. That's what I see. And both have their work to do. And remember that one's not better than the other. They're just playing different roles. So they have different work to do. And remember to focus on yourself. Whether you're a runner or a chaser, focus on you. That's what Chiron is telling you here. Okay. No F's given, that's right. Queen of Wands. She's run out of F's. She's got none left. Okay. 44 likes. Okay. Yeah. No more projection, that's right. Don't allow it. Because then you just feed into that dynamic for the chaser, right? As soon as you start to take it on because you feel guilty, right? You feel guilty. You got that savior energy coming up, right? Remember the savior energy, where it comes from? This is the 51. I want somebody to save me, or I want to save someone, right? Or I want to save someone. This is totally a twin flame dynamic right here. Yeah, is to bring the focus back to you. And the thing is, you got to know yourself. That's what Chiron in the 51 is saying too, right? It's like you got to know yourself. Know yourself. And then you'll know what's yours and what's not. No, that's not mine. This all, I'm not taking on your trip that I'm crazy or I'm too sensitive or I don't know what's what or I got to live in reality, whatever the BS is, right? Once you know that, then you're not going to take it on. It's like, no, that's yours. And the thing with the projection, and I've said this before with projection, because that's what all we're doing on this planet is projecting on one another. It's just more extreme with the twin flames. It's more intense because of the mirror. It's so magnified. But that's what we're doing, is projecting our shadow onto each other. Right? So it's like you've got your bag of garbage. Imagine you've got your big stinky bag of garbage, and that's your work to do. I got to put this garbage in the trash or the compost. It's my job, my duty. But then you've got other people with their big stinky bag of garbage, and they're trying to put it on you. Here, you deal with it. This is yours. It's not mine. Right? No accountability. So this is why it's important to know yourself. It's like, no, this is my bag of garbage. I know that. But this other stuff you're trying to throw on me, no, that's your bag of garbage. Okay. So let's go. Let's go for human design. Twin flames always get me riled up. Okay. So let's start with the generators. Generators, sun, moon, or rising generators. So we're talking about this 51, right? Chiron's going direct in the 51. So watch the beginning of the video and watch your astro too. Your astro, your sun, moon, or rising. And so this is about you being yourself. The 51 is being yourself, making that big leap into your authentic self, your divine self. This is about you leaving the ego behind as much as you can, right? Surrendering the ego. So you've been working on this since July 26. So go check out your astro to see what part of your life this has been working. And then we'll draw a card, an ego card, and then probably a house card too. Okay. So this is for generators who are here to respond with that navel, with a yes or no. That's their strategy. And if it's a yes, they just keep responding moment by moment by moment. Oh, maybe I'll do that for the MGs. Okay. So what's the... What's the ego card for our generator friends? Our generator friends. The builders of our world. Okay. And then what house? Tell me what house. 10th house. Okay. So the generators, the generator family has judgment. Judgment. So there's judgment. The judgment card. And that's what the ego does, is judge. So this is looking at the world. Okay, so here I'm going to get metaphysical on you more, generators. And so everything that you see out in the outside world that you have issue with, right? Because there's one thing to be objective, like an objective observer of the outside world, and it's just, oh, it just is. I don't think this is bad, or I don't think this is good. I'm not in duality. Okay, but as soon as you get into duality, right, that this is good, this is bad, and then you start to get quite emotional about things, right? Heated about things, then you're in judgment. And this is more about you than the world. And I know this is hard to accept for people, is the world is perfect as it is. It's just an unfolding of our consciousness. This is part of our awakening. And this is just how it has to be. That it's in process. It's not going to be, right? It comes and goes. It's in process. And so the worst thing we can do is to judge the world. This is for all types, to judge the world. To sit in judgment, right? And it's the worst thing we can do for the world, because really what the world wants is our forgiveness. That's what the world needs, is our forgiveness. What are we forgiving? That the world has to show us our shadows in this way, right? So the judgment, like back to you generators, the ego is judging something. So what is it judging? And it's going to go back to this 51. Who are you judging? What are you judging in the world? Like who or what are you judging in the world? And then whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, let's say X, then you bring it back that this is about you. Whatever you're judging is really about you. So, with the twin flames are these magnified mirror images of one another. Well, this is you using the outside world as your mirror. Oh, those people, they're so greedy, right? They're so greedy and they don't care about anyone, right? They're so evil or whatever. Then you bring it back to you, because this is what the ego is doing the same thing to you. It's just projecting it outward. There's a part of you that feels that you're greedy, that you're evil, whatever it is, right? So you have to look at it like all judgment is just unintegrated. There's unintegrated aspects of you, that need to be integrated, that you need to own. And sometimes, it's This is hard for the mind and ego to understand because it's so magnified. It's like, I'm not even like that. Like, that's so extreme and over the top. But it has to be so that you're able to see it. So yeah, maybe you're not as extreme as what the mirror is showing you, but there's a little aspect of that within you, and that's what you own, right? That's what you own. So this is what's keeping you from moving forward in your life, is judging. So maybe something's really coming up about your heart, and the generator's like, I can't listen to my heart. My heart wants me to quit my job and take up this new study or whatever, right? And it's like you're allowing the ego to come in and to judge. So in terms of the ego, you're not going to stop the ego mind from judging. It's just what it does. The problem is if you identify with the judgment. And so the die that came up was the 10th house. You can see that's the 10th house. Right? So this is about your career. So something about your career and what you're here to do, you're having judgment about, right? So maybe it doesn't have the same status, right? Whatever your intuition or whatever your response is showing you doesn't have the same status. It doesn't have the same amount of money. But I can tell you right now, if your intuition is telling you, or your sacral is saying yes, it's going to make you happy. Because your sacral and your intuition are connected to your authentic self. Your ego is not. Your ego is not self. Your ego is has its own desires, but it never makes you happy, because once you fulfill one desire, it's the next, and it will follow you into your next lifetime and your next lifetime, right? Yeah. So that's what I would look at with this 51. With Chiron, is wounding around your career. Like, look around your career, and there's something about judgment, right? So bring it back to yourself. Maybe you fear that you'll be judged. If I make this big, huge career move, I'll be judged by others, but really it's about your own judgment. That's what you're fearing. Okay. Anything else for generators? So watch the beginning of the video, generators. Okay, and here's the manifesting generators. And we're talking about the 51 MGs, which is activating Chiron, right? And this is going direct. It's going direct, finally going direct. So since July 26, it's been retrograde. So be sure to watch your astro, sun, moon, and rising, and that will show you what area of your life this was playing out. And the thing that I want to say about the MGs, the work is really important for the generator family. Here's this thing. I think I mentioned this in my last video. This is what they've come up with, a new word for working multiple jobs to survive. Basically, siphoning the generator's energy, right? This is what they do. Now they're calling it polyworking. That's the future of work, is to become a polyworker. So what is this? This is an example of the not self world trying to say that we own your energy, basically, MGs and generators. We own your energy, and we'll tell you, and we'll make it sound really good. Very virtuous, right? Polyworking. This is what you want to stop, because there's no change. There's no change in the world until the generators awaken. When they wake up, and one part of awakening is this 51. This is about asserting yourself and saying, no, you don't have access to my energy. You don't tell me what I'm going to do with my energy. That's up to me and my intuition and my heart and my strategy and my authority as an MG. Right? So that's this assertion. And this is what the MGs and the Gs have to get really good at asserting. Like, no. You want that to be your new favorite word. No. If that's correct, if your navel is saying no, then say no. Right? To obey that. So the wound with the 51 is really about fearing the unknown, that you're good enough, that you can handle shocks and change in your life. Right? And not to realize the fifth line. So it's about not relying on your ego. It's about relying on the divine for your strength and your courage. Okay. So let's do... What do we have for our manifesting generator friends? What's the ego for our manifesting generator friends? Just quick. Okay. And then in what house for our manifesting generator friends? The 8th house. Okay. So the die was rolled, and we got the 8th house. And... we've got the procrastinate card. The procrastinate card. So who would have the 8th? Is Aries, Taurus? No, not Taurus. I'll get that. So procrastinate. So this is an avoidance, right? So there you are at the MGs. You're the 3 of Wands. And this is if this 3 of Wands were you, right? Right here. Well, this guy would be like on his side, right? Like this guy. Scrolling on his phone. Scrolling up and down on his phone. Completely distracted, right? Distracted. Oh, I'll pick the wand later, right? I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. And then next week comes. I'll do it next week. So putting off making a decision, putting off getting your hand out and grabbing a wand, right? And remember the Ace of Wands, it starts off with the 1 wand, and then the 2, and then the 3. And the Ace of Wands, that's your inspiration. Look at the sprout coming off the wand. This is your spirit, right? So this is you choosing your spirit. I'm choosing my spirit. I'm choosing my authenticity. I'm not going to be the jellyfish, right? The jellyfish here, just waiting, not answering the call of my sacral that's saying yes or no, not initiation. This has nothing to do with being a manifestor type, this 51. This is a channel of initiation, the 5125. And it's in the 8th house, right? So this, to me, means with 8th house, this is huge transformation, right? So this is like the birthing house. It's like a birthing, rebirthing house. It's ruled by Scorpio, right? The birthing, rebirthing house. Huge transformation. So this is deciding no. This is using your willpower incorrectly. That's the willpower center. So this is using your willpower and saying, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this work. I don't want to go into this. I'm not strong enough, right? I'm not strong enough. I'll do it tomorrow. I've got lots of time. And I'm going to tell you right now that time is really short on this planet. Relatively speaking, we don't have a lot of time. Like, yes, we're souls were never born and will never die, but in this present incarnation, in this physical body, in these circumstances, especially now, we don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of time. So it's about using your time wisely. It's about using that energy wisely. If all the generators and the MGs did the procrastination, like nothing would get done, right? Nothing would get done. You're here to, there's no change until the Gs and the MGs start waking up, right? So 8th house is huge transformation. It's about letting go of old wounds and fears too. And yeah, so not to procrastinate. So the one thing I would say, there's a sutra. There's 5 sutras to the Aquarian age, and one of the sutras is when the pressure of time is on, start, and the pressure will be off. So what does that mean? It means to commit. It means to make a baby step, right? So maybe your intuition has been telling you. Where are you being called to make that leap and follow your heart? And your intuition has been yelling this to you. And you've been trying to procrastinate. Well, you make a baby step, right? So what can I do? And even ask your intuition. You want to get really good with your intuition. Well, what baby step could I make today? What baby step could I make today? Right? Towards this. And then as soon as you start making one step, like even a teeny baby step, like the teeniest baby, the size of your thumbnail baby step, right? As soon as you make that baby step, then the momentum starts to build, and then it gets easier and easier and easier. That's that ninth. The ninth isn't activated, but that's what that energy is of inertia, of this inertia. Yeah, and don't listen to your ego that's telling you that it's safe. Oh, if I just stay undecided, right, I'll be safe. It's like, no, you will not be safe. But if you know tarot, then this is when the Tower moment steps in, right, for the MJs. Okay. Yeah. You'll feel the energy, right? You're going to start to feel the energy change, especially when we get into January. Okay. Okay, so let's go for Projector. The Projector here. The Projectors. So Projectors, we're talking about Chiron activating the 51st gate because it's going direct in the 51.5. And this is dealing with change. So you've been reflecting on something in your life, and so look at your astrology, your sun, moon, and rising, and it will show you where in your life this moon has been coming up. And so we're going to start to feel like a little bit of a relief, right? December 29th, when the 51 in Chiron starts to go forward. So this is about making the leap. So what leap into the unknown? So what do we have? Being your own savior. Okay, what do we have for our Projector friends? What do we have for our Projector friends? What do we have for our Projector friends? What do we have for our Projector friends for Chiron going direct? Okay. Okay. And then what's the... What house? What house? Okay. So for the Projectors, we got fishing for compliments and ego doom. So ego doom is good news for you, but bad news for the ego. So this is card pull for our Projector friends is saying that this is a big ego trap for the Projectors on my fractal line. Big ego trap for the Projectors. So this, we want to give you snaps, give the Projector snaps, because this card is saying that you've done a lot of work, a lot of inner work, Projectors. Right? And this is about your commitment to self, right? That this ego doom has come up. And so this is following your intuition, following your heart, right? Waiting for invitations, the correct invitations. Yeah. And what's the ego? This is the big ego trap. It's looking for validation. Basically, this is looking for validation. And you've got to remember that the Projectors, they're early. They're the babies. Right? They're the babies of all the human design types because they weren't discovered until 1787. Right? The discovery of Uranus. And then the Projector came on the planet. So they're babies. So validation It's easier for a generator and a manifesting generator and a manifestor to get validation because we live in a generator world, right? We're not in a projector world. So it's difficult. The validation for a generator is you're such a hard worker. We bring it back to them, right? You're such a hard worker. We really value people that work hard and that are productive in our world. And then we get this other type, like who are they? Right? These projectors. You're not going to get validated by the masses. Not yet anyway, because the magic that the projector does is there's no room for it to be seen yet, but it will be seen yet. It will be seen in the future, especially in 2025. People are going to need guidance. The other types, the generator family, are going to need guidance, right? With their energy, because the ego is not going to work anymore for them. I'm talking about like this asleep masses, right? So this is like to really watch this within yourself. Like, oh, I need validation that I'm okay. I need that other person to validate that I have value. There's Chiron in the 51, right? That I have value, that I have self-worth in this world. Right? Because I'm not getting it, right? I'm not getting it as a projector. That's a big sign when you have that need and desire, because it's a desire. And I understand it, right? That you want to feel like you're okay and that you've got value. We all want that. We all want to feel like we have a purpose on this planet, right? But as soon as you start to have that desire, I want from the other, that's a sign that you need to bring it back home, like bring it back to you. Okay, I need to validate myself, right? I'm okay. And just that self-talk, right? That self-love talk. You bring that back to yourself. So you have to give all of this to yourself, right? You've got to make yourself feel secure, because this is emotional insecurity while you're doing that. It's like you got the big harpoon and you're trying to throw it in other people like they're the whale, right? I need the validation from them. Say, put the harpoon down. And you got to start giving this to yourself. Because otherwise you're compromised as a projector. If I need that other person to validate me as a projector, I need that other person to feel okay about myself. I need that other person to feel emotionally secure about myself. Am I going to give them the truth? Chances are no, because you're compromised. You're compromised because if you say the wrong thing to them, they'll go and there goes your emotional security, right? This is how tricky the ego is. So you want to be giving all that to yourself. Give that all to yourself. And then you can be really of service to the other types. Then you can speak the truth, because then you're not attached to the outcome. If they don't want to hear what you have to say, then right, another invitation will come, or they'll appreciate your guidance, and then they'll give you the big thank you. But you don't really need it, do you? Because you're giving yourself thank you. You're validating yourself. That's the goal. Right? That's the goal, is to be completely self-reliant. Yeah. Okay. And just remember, whenever you try to satisfy ego needs, right? As soon as you get into that game, I've got to appease my ego. It never ends. The desire never ends. It's one desire after another. It's fulfilled. Another desire, another desire, another desire. And then this was in your 5th house. That's right. It was 5. So this is about your expression. It's about your self-expression, your creativity, which could be you as your projector self. Because creativity is not like I've got a paintbrush and a canvas, right? Or I have a musical instrument and I'm creating music. Your creativity is your life. And projectors are very creative, So this could be stopping you from fully expressing yourself, like who you truly are as a projector. You know, and the arrows aren't here, but if you've got your rightness, then will be pulled out of you as a projector. It's all dependent. I mean, even absorbing focused aura, that the other person's aura will pull these things out of you, right? This expression that's very unique to you as a projector. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing more powerful than an authentic projector, right? An authentic projector. And we're just discovering the true gifts of the projector. So the best thing you can do is bring your focus always back to yourself, not to be so dependent on other people. Okay. And now let's go for the manifestor here. And so manifestors, we're talking about Chiron activating the 51st gate and going direct. So check out your astrology to find out where that took place in your life. It's been retrograde since July 26. So you've been reflecting on something, letting go of this wound. Not letting go of the wound, but integrating the wound. Because you can't let go of a wound. You've got to integrate it. It's a gift. Every wound is a gift for us. Okay. So there's that. And then let's do for the manifestors. What house for the manifestor? 12th house. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is interesting for so check out, if you're a manifestor Taurus, check out the sign of Taurus if you're a manifestor Taurus to give you more information. So this is a suppression card, the suppression card here. So this is about not expressing, listening to your ego and not expressing, right? So in terms of manifestor language, that would be not informing. And it's in the 12th house. So that's self-sabotage. That's totally sabotaging yourself by not informing, not sharing with others. Here. And this is, you have to ask yourself why, right? Why are you not listening to your intuition? And I think this is a common theme for our manifestor friends, because it seems to be come up quite a bit here, right? So again, you want to make a baby step. I can't, right? Like this isn't natural for the manifestors to want to share what's going on with them because they don't want to be controlled. So you do a baby step share. I'm just going to do a baby step share and see what happens. And you'll be amazed at how the blocks start to come down, right? That there's no more, because the strategy, I mean, the strategy for the manifestor is not really a strategy. It's just about making your life easier. That's what it is. To inform and share is about making your life easier because people don't trust you, right? So this is a 12th house thing. So this is secrecy, right? It's secrecy. And this is about you self-sabotaging yourself here. This is a self-sabotaging thing, and it's unconscious. It's unconscious. And you're trying to block your energy, right? And what are you doing? You're blocking your power as a manifestor. You're blocking your power. Okay? So this is about whatever you suppress. And I'm not saying you're doing this purposefully, right? 12th house. That's like past life stuff. This is what you did in your past life. Maybe you weren't a manifestor in your past life. You were another type. And maybe it was unsafe for you, right, to share, right? Let's go back to the witch burnings again. Maybe I was helping people in my village with remedies and stuff, right? And I was sharing secret knowledge with them, and they ran and told the the priests, that I was practicing witchcraft or whatever, and out comes the town, the mob with the pitchforks and the torches. Like, this is how deep this 12th house stuff can come. So you just make a baby step, and then you deal with the feelings as they come. Sweep as you go. That's what I tell people all the time. I'm going to sweep as I go. It comes up, I sweep it, I clean it up, I feel it, and then I keep moving forward. But suppression's not going to help you, because it will lead to disease, to suppress, because you're suppressing your authenticity when you're doing this. It will lead to disease, and that's when the body is telling you that you're out of balance, right? Okay. Let's go for the reflector. Okay. Where's the reflector? Our reflector friends. What do we got? I know the reflectors probably listened to the whole video. But just in case, go watch the beginning if you're a reflector that jumped here. Remember, you're following the cycles of the moon. Okay. What do we got? So what do we have for our reflector friends? What do we have for our reflector friends? What do we have for our reflector friends? What do our reflector friends need to hear? What do our reflector friends need to hear? Oh. What house? 6. Okay. Obsessive thinking. I think we get that every live stream. Obsessive thinking here. Okay. Obsessive thinking with the 51 in the 6th house. So that makes sense, doesn't it, right? That's a Virgo ruled house, right? Virgo ruled house. So check out Scorpio. You may be a Scorpio reflector. Okay, so 6th house ruled by Virgo, that's worry, right? I'm worrying. So some wound is coming up. It's like I'm worrying. How can I make that leap into the unknown? Because this is about trusting your inner being. Called to make a leap and follow your heart. Where are you being called to make a leap and follow your heart? And then you leave this out of it. Right? This is going to be a huge theme in 2025 because the South Node is going to be in Virgo. So we're going to be letting go of this obsessive thinking. This is like our addiction to the mind, right? About figuring it out, figuring it all out. We can't do that anymore, right? So not to listen to your mind. And maybe that Chiron is showing you that. Like, I'm too identified with my mind. It's driving me crazy. It's creating anxiety, right? It's on my day-to-day because this is 6th house. I'm worried about work, right? I'm worried about my work. Maybe I'm being called to go to another form of work as a reflector. And all of this is coming up. This is when you just want to settle your mind, right? And that's when you meditate. That's the best thing to do, is to meditate. So I've got lots of meditations on my channel and my website that I'm presently organizing, trying to organize all my meditations. But to meditate, just to calm down your mind so that you can feel your inner being. You can't, I mean, your inner being is always there. You can't get rid of your inner being, but to actually feel its presence in that calmness where right, you feel your inner being and your shoulders relax and they come down, your temples relax, your belly relax, and then you're aligned with your true intelligence then. But when you're in this worry mind, that's not a good place. This is not your intelligence. This is a big distraction from your intelligence. So that's what I would say to the reflectors, is just calm down and look. You're a reflector. Look who's in your life and what are they reflecting back to you, right? So if they're obsessively thinking and worrying and stuff, you bring it back to you and you calm your mind down. And then that you can be that, because right now you're turbulent. It's like turbulent waters. You're not reflecting back when you're in that state, but when you're in a calm state of mind, then you can reflect back. And you don't even, the thing with reflectors, they don't even know what they're reflecting back when they're their authentic self. But that other person that looks at you sees it. They can see themselves in you. Okay? Okay. So that's what I have for everybody. So reminder, the New Year Superpower Online Retreat is just before the New Year turns, January 21st. And we're going to be focusing on roles, because this is all about your authenticity this year, which is all about healing. This is about healing. So doing some ancestral healing work during this online retreat. I'll go into the chart. I already did a webinar series on this, but I'm going to edit some of the videos so you'll be able to have access to that, but it won't be part of like the teachings. I won't go too much into detail, make this complex, but you'll just have tons and tons of hours of material is what I'm trying to say. But I want to use the live when we're live together for to go into the roles. Like we each one of us, according to human design, is playing a certain role, what's authentic to us. If we're in a group of people, we play a role. When we're by ourselves, we play a role. When we're with our intimate partners, we play another role. When we're just out and about, we play another role. And it's really interesting what it is. And this will help align you with your soul purpose, And remember, the healing is not about, I got to find myself, I got to discover myself. It's like, no, I need to let go of what's not me. So human design is like a mirror. I'm showing you a mirror. Here you are. Here's a snapshot of you. And now let go of anything that's not aligned with this. And that's not you, right? This is what healing is. And it's going to be a huge theme for 2025. Okay, so have a good day, evening, and I will see you soon in the next video or newsletter. Okay, so namaloha, everybody. Bye-bye.